Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our English Learning Podcast. I'm Jennifer, and as always, I'm here with my wonderful co-host, Elizabeth. How are you doing today, Elizabeth?
I'm doing great, thank you. I'm really looking forward to today's discussion because it's a topic that's not only essential for language learners but also crucial for everyone. The value of water star. Water is something we all depend on, but we often take it for granted. Today, we'll explore why water is so valuable both for our health and for the environment.
Absolutely. Water is vital to life, and understanding its importance can help us make better decisions about how we use and conserve it. For our English learners, this discussion will also introduce you to key vocabulary and concepts related to water and sustainability. We'll be talking about everything from the role of water in our daily lives to the global challenges we face in managing this precious resource.
Yes, and before we dive in, I want to remind our listeners to subscribe to our podcast if you haven't already. By subscribing, you'll stay up to date with all our episodes and continue improving your English listening skills.
And if you're enjoying our podcast, please take a moment to give us a rating, and don't forget to share it with your friends who are also learning English. Your support helps us keep creating content that's both educational and engaging.
Now, let's get started with today's topic, the value of water star. Jennifer, why don't we begin by discussing why water is so essential to human life?
That's a great place to start, Elizabeth. Water is often referred to as the elixir of life because it's crucial for nearly every function in the human body. It makes up about 60% of our body weight, and it's involved in many vital processes, including digestion, circulation, and temperature regulation. Without enough water, our bodies simply cannot function properly.
Exactly. Staying hydrated is key to maintaining our health. Water helps transport nutrients to our cells, flush out toxins, and keep our skin healthy. Dehydration, on the other hand, can lead to serious health problems such as kidney stones, urinary tract infections, and even cognitive impairments. That's why it's so important to drink enough water every day.
Absolutely. And beyond its role in our bodies, water is also essential for the environment. It's the foundation of all ecosystems. Rivers, lakes, and oceans support a vast array of life forms, from tiny microorganisms to large mammals. These water bodies also play a critical role in regulating the climate by absorbing and storing carbon dioxide.
Yes, and water is also fundamental to agriculture, which is the backbone of our food supply. Crops need water to grow, and without reliable sources of water, food production would be impossible. This is why water management is such a critical issue globally, especially in regions where water is scarce.
That's true, Elizabeth. Water scarcity is a growing concern in many parts of the world. As populations increase and demand for water rises, managing this finite resource becomes more challenging. In some areas, overuse of water resources has led to depletion of aquifers, dried up rivers, and loss of wetlands, which in turn affects biodiversity and human livelihoods.
Exactly. It's a complex issue that requires careful planning and sustainable practices. One of the biggest challenges is balancing the needs of different sectors, agriculture, industry, and households, while ensuring that there's enough water left to maintain healthy ecosystems.
Speaking of sustainability, let's discuss some ways that individuals can contribute to water conservation. Elizabeth, what are some practical steps people can take to reduce their water usage?
There are several simple yet effective ways to conserve water. One of the most important is to be mindful of how much water you use at home. For example, turning off the tap while brushing your teeth can save several liters of water each day. Fixing leaks promptly is another crucial step. Just one dripping faucet can waste hundreds of liters of water over time.
Those are great suggestions. Another way to save water is by using water-efficient appliances, such as low-flow shower heads and dual-flush toilets. These devices reduce the amount of water used without compromising on performance. Additionally, consider using a broom instead of a hose to clean driveways and sidewalks, which can save a significant amount of water.
Yes, and in the garden, using drought-resistant plants and mulching can help reduce the need for watering. Collecting rainwater for irrigation is another excellent way to conserve water. It's about making small changes that add up to a big difference over time.
Absolutely. Every drop counts, and by being more conscious of our water usage, we can all play a part in protecting this valuable resource. Now, let's shift our focus to the global perspective. Water scarcity is a significant issue in many parts of the world. Elizabeth, could you explain some of the causes and consequences of this problem?
Certainly. Water scarcity can be caused by a variety of factors, including climate change, population growth, and poor water management. In many regions, increasing temperatures and changing precipitation patterns are leading to droughts and reduced water availability. At the same time, growing populations are putting more pressure on existing water resources.
And when water is scarce, the consequences can be severe. In some cases, it can lead to conflicts over water rights, as different groups compete for access to limited supplies. Water scarcity can also exacerbate poverty and food insecurity, especially in developing countries where agriculture is a major source of income.
Yes, and it's not just about quantity, it's also about quality. In many areas, water pollution is a major issue, with industrial waste, agricultural runoff, and untreated sewage contaminating water supplies. This not only harms the environment, but also poses serious health risks to communities.
That's a critical point. Access to clean water is a fundamental human right, yet millions of people around the world still lack access to safe drinking water. Addressing this issue requires global cooperation and investment in sustainable water management practices.
Absolutely. It's a challenge that we must all work together to solve. And on that note, let's take a moment to remind our listeners to subscribe to our podcast if they haven't already. Subscribing ensures that you won't miss any of our future discussions, and it helps you stay on track with your English learning goals.
And if you're enjoying this episode, please give us a rating and share it with your friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so don't forget to leave a comment or question. Your feedback helps us create better content that meets your needs.
Now, let's take a call from one of our listeners who wants to share their thoughts on today's topic. Let's take the call.
Hi there, you're on the air with Jennifer and Elizabeth.
Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Elizabeth. My name is Maria, and I'm calling from Madrid, Spain. I've been following your podcast for a while, and I really enjoy the topics you cover. Today's discussion about water is very important to me because I work in the field of environmental education.
It's great to hear from you. We're glad you could join the discussion. Can you share with us some of your experiences working in environmental education, particularly regarding water conservation?
Of course. In my work, I focus on teaching people, especially students, about the importance of conserving water. We often take water for granted, but when you show people just how much water is wasted in everyday activities, it really opens their eyes. One project I'm particularly proud of involved installing rainwater harvesting systems in schools. The students learned how to collect and use rainwater for gardening, which not only conserved water but also taught them about sustainable practices.
What's your name, and where are you calling from? That sounds like a fantastic initiative, Maria. It's so important to educate the younger generation about these issues, as they will be the ones to carry these lessons forward. What challenges have you faced in promoting water conservation, and how have you overcome them?
One of the biggest challenges is changing people's attitudes and habits. Many people don't realize how much water they're using, or they don't see the immediate impact of their actions. To overcome this, we focus on providing practical, easy-to-implement solutions and showing people the long-term benefits. For example, we've had success by linking water conservation to cost savings, which resonates with many people.
That's a very effective approach, Maria. By making the connection between conservation and personal benefits, you're more likely to encourage lasting change. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and experiences with us.
Thank you, Elizabeth and Jennifer. I've really enjoyed being part of the conversation. Keep up the great work with the podcast.
Thank you, Maria. We're so glad you called in. Take care.
Bye, Maria.
That was a wonderful call. It's inspiring to hear how people like Maria are making a real difference in their communities through environmental education and water conservation.
Yes, Maria's work is a great example of how small changes like installing rainwater harvesting systems can have a big impact. It's a reminder that we all have a role to play in protecting our water resources.
Absolutely. And as we approach the end of today's episode, let's recap some of the key points we've discussed. We explored the essential role of water in human life, from its impact on our health to its importance for the environment. We also talked about the challenges of water scarcity and pollution, and shared practical tips for conserving water in our daily lives.
We also had the pleasure of hearing from Maria, who shared her experiences in promoting water conservation through environmental education. Her insights highlighted the importance of teaching sustainable practices and making the connection between conservation and personal benefits.
Yes, it's been a truly enlightening discussion. We hope our listeners feel motivated to think more carefully about how they use water and to take steps towards conserving this invaluable resource.
And as always, we encourage you to subscribe to our podcast if you haven't already. By subscribing, you'll stay informed about future episodes where we'll continue exploring important topics that help you improve your English while learning about the world.
Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Your feedback is invaluable to us, and we love hearing your thoughts on the topics we cover. It also helps us create content that's tailored to your interests and needs.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Remember, every drop of water counts, so let's all do our part to conserve this precious resource.
We'll see you in the next episode. Take care, and stay mindful of the value of water in your daily life.
Bye for now.